Death is not an end. It is a trap. And once you know how it works, you are already falling into it. Item number SCP-2718. Object Class Keter. Level 5 clearance required. Special Containment Procedures. SCP-2718 is a Dammerung-class cognitohazard. It is not a physical object, but a belief-triggered state of being. Containment is achieved through total information suppression. No records of SCP-2718 are to exist in any Foundation database outside of this encrypted, isolated server. Knowledge of the nature of SCP-2718 is restricted to the O5 Council. Any non-authorized personnel who become aware of the nature of this anomaly are to be administered Class A amnestics immediately. If amnestics fail, the subject is to be terminated and their remains incinerated to prevent the onset of the anomaly's effects. Under no circumstances is any member of the Foundation to attempt the resurrection of deceased high-level personnel. Death must be accepted as final. Description: SCP-2718 refers to a phenomenon affecting human consciousness following clinical death. Unlike traditional theological or biological models of death, which suggest a cessation of consciousness or a transition to an afterlife, SCP-2718 describes a state of eternal functional awareness. When an individual who is aware of the nature of SCP-2718 dies, their consciousness does not dissipate. Instead, it remains tethered to every individual cell and molecule of their biological remains. The subject continues to perceive all sensory input associated with their corpse indefinitely. This includes, but is not limited to, the sensation of cold, the pressure of the earth or the casket, the stinging of embalming fluids, and most critically, the excruciating pain of cellular decomposition. Because the consciousness is no longer supported by a functioning nervous system, it cannot black out or lose consciousness from trauma. The pain is processed with absolute crystalline clarity. As the body breaks down, the consciousness is fragmented. Each wandering microbe that consumes a part of the flesh carries a piece of the subject's awareness with it. To suffer SCP-2718 is to feel oneself being pulled apart, atom by atom, over centuries, with no hope of cessation or relief. The anomaly appears to be triggered by the observation or knowledge of the state itself. It is a self-fulfilling ontological hazard. To know of the eternal agony is to be condemned to it. Addendum 01. Recovery Log. The existence of SCP-2718 was discovered following the resurrection of O511. O511 had been deceased for 18 years following a standard cardiac failure. Using a combination of anomalous recovery technology and high-level thaumaturgy, O507 successfully restored O511 to a living state. The following is a transcript of the debriefing held 3 hours after O511's revival. Participants include O51, O57, and the resurrected O511. O57 began the session by asking 11 how it felt to be back. 11 did not speak for several minutes. He sat on the edge of the medical bed, his eyes wide, trembling with a violence that suggested his bones might snap. When he finally spoke, his voice was a dry, ragged whisper. 11 told the council that he had been awake the entire time. He described the moment his heart stopped as a door slamming shut, but he remained in the room. He felt the doctors stop their efforts. He felt the cold of the morgue drawer. He felt the first incision of the autopsy, every nerve ending screaming in a way that should have been impossible. He described the burial. He described the weight of the soil. He said that for the first few years, the pain was manageable, a dull, constant ache of rot. But then the insects arrived. He felt every bite, every burrowing larva, every movement of the worms through his viscera. He could feel his eyes liquefy and run down his cheeks. He could feel his skin peeling away from the muscle as it turned to sludge. O51 interrupted, asking if it was a dream or a hallucination brought on by the soul's transition. 11 screamed. He shouted that there was no soul. There was only the eye that is trapped in the meat. He explained that as his body dissolved into the soil, his consciousness expanded. He felt the trees that grew above him, their roots drinking his liquefied remains. He felt the birds that ate the worms that had eaten him. He was being spread across the earth, thin and screaming, but never dying. He begged O51 to kill him again, but only if they could promise total annihilation. He demanded they find a way to destroy his atoms, to burn him until nothing was left, because the thought of returning to that state was worse than any containment breach or world-ending scenario the Foundation had ever faced. Addendum 02, Incident Report 2718A. Following the testimony of O511, a schism formed within the O5 Council. O57, horrified by what she had done and what awaited her, began a frantic search for immortality. She proposed that the Foundation's primary mission should shift from containment to the total eradication of death itself. O51, however, recognized the danger. If the knowledge of this state is what causes the state to occur, then O511's testimony was the most dangerous weapon in existence. To to tell the world was to condemn humanity to an eternity of conscious torture. During an emergency session, 05-7 attempted to leak the data to the General Foundation staff, believing that if everyone knew, they would be forced to find a cure for death. 05-1 intervened. He ordered the immediate termination of the site's power and the activation of a localized amnestic gas. In the ensuing chaos, 0511 escaped the medical wing. He was later found in a nearby incinerator room. He had climbed into the furnace and activated it himself. His last recorded words over the internal comms were, "The fire is better. The fire is fast, but I can still feel the smoke." 057 was apprehended and stripped of her rank. She was administered a level 5 amnestic and reassigned to a low-level research position under a pseudonym. All records of the meeting were scrubbed. Addendum 03. Researcher's note. It has been theorized that SCP-2718 is not a natural law of the universe, but a recent infection. Some believe it is a curse, or perhaps a predatory afterlife that feeds on those who are aware of it. Others suggest it is the result of the Foundation's own interference with the Reaper entities, that by containing the harbingers of death, we have broken the mechanism that allows the consciousness to fade. There is a final, more terrifying possibility. Perhaps SCP-2718 is what has always happened. Perhaps every grave in the world is filled with people who are still awake, still feeling, and still screaming into the dirt. Perhaps the only difference now is that we know. The Foundation's motto is secure, contain, protect. But in the case of SCP-2718, we can do none of these. We cannot secure a concept. We cannot contain the inevitable. And we certainly cannot protect you from what happens after your heart stops. The only mercy we can offer is silence. Do not seek the truth. Do not look into the dark. Accept the end when it comes, and pray that your mind goes dark before the first worm finds you. If you are reading this, you are already infected. The clock is ticking. You will feel the cold. You will feel the weight. You will feel the decay. And you will never, ever stop feeling it. Every second you spend alive is a second you are not yet screaming. Make them count, because once the lights go out, the real story begins, and it is a story that never ends. Subscribe for more files.